Blame it on the booze, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the throne, got you in the zone. Blame it on.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Stephanie B, aka Umi. For those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Have a seat, take your coat off, stay a while. For those of you who have been around Umi's place, holding space and listening to me speak, I appreciate y'all and it's good to see y'all here. Don't be shy, say hi, say what's up so I know that y'all are here. So today is brought to you by another Mindful Mama moment. It's been a while since I've had a Mindful Mama moment on camera, at least. I have these Mindful Mama moments, if not every day, at least a few days within the week. And if not at least a few days within the week, at least once a week I'm reflecting. And if you know me personally, you're like, yeah, it's definitely every day or multiple times within the day to reflect, because I think that it's so vital, it's so important to just hold some space for yourself and reflect and process how you're feeling personally. What are some ways that you could implement new things into your life, and how are the things that you have into your life working for you? Is it something that is serving great purpose? Is it not serving great purpose? What's that like? What's happening with it? How can you continue cultivating it? How can you continue practicing it? Or how can you replace it with something else that will serve you greater purpose?
Tell me what I'm gonna do. Baby, I'm about to show you.
Mindful Mama moment. If you follow me on Instagram, which you probably should, if you want to keep up with me and kind of see what I write, how I write, what I'm posting, if you just want to keep up and vibe with me, then just come on through with me. So this past week, I took some time and I checked in. Yes, I said that correctly. I checked in with myself. During my time of checking in with myself, I was able to really have some quiet time and realize how much energy I was putting into one place. And this is not just as a business owner, because you guys know that I am also a spiritpreneur. I have a skincare, soul care line, and y'all can also go follow that on Instagram. And I curate rooted grounding products to cater to our root chakra. So not just from a spiritpreneur aspect of putting my energy into one place, but as a human too, putting my energy into one place, as human, as mama, as a vlogger, as a blogger, as a woman, as human, right? So I was putting a lot of energy into Instagram and just being on Instagram, just being there, being available there, being open there. And I was slowly starting to implement logging off intentionally and then logging back on intentionally. And these are some things that I used to do in the past as well too, like log off. When I'm out, I'm logging off, and then I would log back in. And then, you know, as time goes, your fingers, your muscle memory just starts to kind of take over if you allow it to. And you start to scroll a little bit more, you just start to not log out as much, and that leaves the energy open there in that space. So I grew distant from that practice. And usually around this time of the fall, I start to come back into the delicate disciplinary practices that I have, where I'm applying pressure, but it's gentle pressure, and it's not an overwhelming amount of pressure, because I don't like to be pressured into doing things. I like to feel supported with that pressure. Like, I like pressure that has a gentle, delicate touch that works just right for me. It's not too extreme. It feels like a mama's encouragement. It feels like a mama's love. It feels like a mama's guidance. So that's the type of pressure that I vibe with. And around this time, I normally go back into that space of like, okay, my spirit guides, my angels, my ancestors, my highest self, my energy seems to come in for me a little bit more and love on me more during this time and remind me of those practices that really serve me great purpose. So that logging in and logging out and just leaving the app open, I realized that I was putting a lot of my energy into that one space and then still trying to navigate the other things that I have around me. And at one point, this was a conversation that I've had with myself. And again, this was something that I was practicing, logging out and distributing my energy much more intentionally and strategically. And, things happen and you kind of fall out of the practice of it, right? So I'm back in the space and it feels so good that I had to create a vlog about it. I had to share it. I had to remind you and allow you guys in on this moment of me witnessing something that my energy was extremely invested into, and not necessarily being invested into growing my following or multiplying my following or all of those other aspects that we can sometimes run on that hamster wheel with. And it's not necessarily towards that, more towards just being available, just being here and available, and knowing that I could be doing something else, but here I am on Instagram. The app is open. I may or may not be scrolling, but I'm here and I'm available. And wanting to grow following and wanting to meet people and network, it's great, and it's all great, it's all dandy, it's a beautiful wanting, but also how much of that, or whatever it is that you're focusing your energy into, how much of it is actually consuming you and not supporting you or contributing to the things that you should be doing, right? I know we're always where we're supposed to be doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. However, there are times where when we allow ourselves to kind of get off track, even when I'm off track, I'm still on track. I strongly believe it. There are times where things can kind of pile up a little bit more than it needs to, right? Like laundry, for instance. I practice doing laundry every day. At one point, it was every other day. Now it's every day. And if I am not on top of it, it will pile up and it will grow. And then I'm going to have more laundry and probably be overwhelmed, than implementing this practice of like, okay, every day, a little bit every day. So when we allow ourselves to neglect some of the things and some of the practices that we know serve us great purpose, and we see the results of it, then it can really spiral and it can really put us into this place where we ultimately end up paying for it energetically and in whichever ways. But I'm going to say energetically because I'm speaking about me, right? So we end up paying for it energetically. I ended up paying for it energetically, putting all of my energy into there. It's like almost like putting all your eggs into one basket and not spreading your eggs out a little bit more than that, right? So in this time of checking out, some of the things that I have been doing have been, as y'all can see, I painted my nails, and I know y'all are like, okay, you painted your nails. Self-maintenance is important. However, painting my nails, something as small as this, is something I haven't been doing because my energy didn't feel like, I didn't feel like I had enough energy to clip my cuticles, file my nails. It was like, this was the last thing I was thinking about and the last thing on my list. And yes, we can prioritize and we can put certain things at the top of our list and we can put certain things at the bottom of our list. We can do all of those things. But when your energy is so open and you're available and you're just here and you're not really focused on where you want and how much time you want to be spending into certain things, then there are things that fall into the wayside, and then you start to feel like you don't have time. I was starting to feel like I didn't have time to do this. I was starting to feel like I didn't have time to take care of myself in little ways. And taking a moment to check in with myself gave me time to go out, and I had a drink by myself and check in more with friends who I've already had really great connections with. And I know this, for me, the end of the year, I know that we're coming into the holiday season. If you whether you celebrate them or not, we can't deny that the energy around it is just family filled, and it just feels more called to gather with your loved ones and hibernate and really just enjoy each other's company and space. So, and it can be, sometimes it can be a little bit easier too, since the world is created around that kind of way. People have the time off around that time. So it feels right to come into this like cuddly, hibernating, loving space with folks who I have been friends with, and getting to know them on a different level and layer, as I'm getting to know myself as well too. And it's been such a breath of fresh air, because in the time of taking a moment to check in, I've really been able to think about some of the things that I really enjoy doing. And they're like the most simplest things, right? Like painting my nails, taking myself out for a drink, having a drive. And like, I love driving. I drive with my son, with King, all the time. Y'all know. And I know some people are on here who may have a strong belief that one should be separated from their children and have their time alone. And when we see that, we usually see it on this scale of extremists, of people being like, check out, spend some time with you. And it starts to get to the point, for me at least, where you start to see folks relying too much on the village, folks just making certain decisions that doesn't feel like it's internally led. Like, you're not just naturally allowing yourself to have more space, and you're not prioritizing the ways that you need to take care of yourself, and also just prioritizing and giving yourself enough time to be able to actually check in with yourself. So it can be a little extreme. I enjoy spending time with my son. I feel like I always have to add disclosures, just in case there's somebody who's maybe on the extreme end of that spectrum and believe that you need to be separated, when that's not the case for everyone. If you watch one of my Mindful Mama Moments video, you know that I talked about implementing checking in with myself during the daytime with my son as I'm mommying, and then after I'm mommy. That's just a standard practice for me, because even if it's for like a second with him with me, because I'm one of those moms who actually wants my kid around. Like, I want him around, and I have so much satisfaction in knowing that I can learn how to coexist with him in a way that it doesn't feel like he needs to be out of my face in order for me to take care of myself, or in order for me to be with myself, and in order for me to get to know myself. I want to do that with him here. I just find it so much more satisfying, because then when he is with me, I'm implementing those things and we're practicing them. He's seeing me do them, and he's learning how to respect those things, and he's also learning how to implement them on his own for himself, and he's learning how important they are to me, and then he'll be able to learn how to do them for himself as well. So I take pride in those moments of being able to lead by example, or even just have him in the space. I don't like to feel like we need to be out of each other's face, or we need to be separated in order to do those kind of things. I'm one of those moms. So just in case any of y'all were thinking that, like, good, like, you need time for yourself, you need time to get away, this is not one of those videos. Disclosure. I was also able to spend more time with King, and I spend a lot of time with him. If y'all follow me on all the social medias, y'all know we spend a lot of time together. I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm a homemaker. He's with me all the time. He's with me. So I was able to access a different level of being present for him, that I was starting to realize that wasn't drifting, but I wasn't being as attentive to myself witnessing him in those moments, if that makes sense. So something as simple as watching him laugh. Like, watching him laugh and just allowing myself to embrace him laughing, and just see the toddler in him. I haven't been able to witness myself doing that in a little while, but I was able to witness him, and I was also able to witness him and not feel like I needed to be in certain spaces. I really do honor my energy and where my energy is called. Like if I feel called to post, I will. If there's a specific topic that I want to write or talk about, usually it's pretty thought out for a long time, y'all. And if it's not thought out for a long time, it's something that just came to me because I'm emptying myself in order to receive, right? So it's stuff that come to me spiritually led, subconsciously dropped into my conscious mind, things like that. And those are all things that I respect and honor my way of moving. And it's not at a fast pace because I don't need to move at a fast pace. I don't like moving at a fast pace. And for those of you who know me, I'm actually from the South. I'm from Miami, y'all. And although I've been in Boston almost half of my life, the slow way of moving is literally in my being. I don't hustle, even though I'm a spiritpreneur, I'm a mompreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. I just don't align with hustling and trying to, grind. It goes against the grain for me. And it feels like just that grinding. Like when you grind your teeth, when you're grinding something, it's like you're doing that. And it doesn't feel good to me. So a lot of the stuff that I talk about and write about, it's very much spiritual led. It's things that come to me, and I do apply some structures within it as well too. However, if I don't feel called to share it, I won't. And if I don't feel called to be in certain places, I won't be there. And I know for a lot of people, you're like, how are you doing that as a businesswoman? Like, how is that something that how are you able to even implement that? And maybe I'll make a separate video on it, but in society's terms, I'm a businesswoman, right? But to me, I'm a spiritpreneur. I see myself as a spiritpreneur, so I operate on spirit. And I very much honor my spirit in that kind of way. And it honors back. Like, it's like if I'm in a space of making something new, then I'm in a space of making something new, and I'll create something new, and I'll start using it myself and, do all that good stuff. And it'll be a long time before I share it with the world. Usually it works like this. If I'm feeling like I need to retract a little bit, things start to slow down. My orders will slow down. And it's like folks get it energetically. And that's the type of business I want to run. I want to have something that's energetically run. I don't want it to be something that I feel like I'm like driving myself crazy, pulling my hair out, and I don't feel like doing something. It doesn't feel like I have the energy to put into my products and send those out. It works for me as a spiritpreneur, and it all falls into place, and it seems to be full circle for me. I want to continue operating in this kind of way. So I say that to say that grinding is not my thing, and moving against the energy is not my thing either. I've learned that, and I've learned to respect that. So I don't need to move at a fast pace. I don't need to rush and really, I don't need to be a part of that energy. A lot of you have heard me say too, as a stay-at-home mom homemaker, we're in a whole different world at home, right? Because things like we can move at whatever pace we want. We're not outside. It's completely two separate worlds. However, when we go outside is where we are introduced to that faster pace. And it's how we show up and what we bring and how we tap into that natural balance is how well things are going to be able to pan out for us, right? So I have learned that, and I have learned that I can be this way. I can respect and honor how I move, but also be aware of what's happening outside externally. And that awareness means that I'm aware enough to step outside when I'm in the space to do so, and I'm able to know that I'm bringing this much more slower pace to the outside world and the people who are around. So it's like when people kind of are around me, they feel it, they know it, and it can be a little strange or even comforting for some people. So I don't move like that. Everything is spiritually led that I talk about. So it takes a little while for me to even deliver some of the messages that I do deliver. It's so important for me to be aware of the concept of how much I'm immersing into certain things, and how much of that energy is being reciprocated, whether it's from other people or it's from me to me, right? So checking in with me, and checking in with you too. There's a gnat in here, y'all. It just keeps on like grabbing my attention. We have a lot of fresh fruit that are out there that these gnats are trying to get a hold of. So the law of reciprocity, y'all know how much that means to me. And if you don't know, now you know. Being able to give and take from myself, from others as well too, and showing up into these spaces with those things that I know that are going to support me as I'm doing all of these things. As a sacred space facilitator, it's so important for me to be aware of how much energy I have to put out and how much energy I have to hold space, and also how much I need time to just like put some space around me to be able to reflect. Because as much as I love sharing my life and I love sharing these moments, it's also important for me to bask in silence and just like enjoy the silence around me, enjoy the silence within me, and just step away. It can be tricky to kind of prioritize and learn and build that muscle, or just be aware of the muscle that you're building. So this was a good reminder for me, and this is some of the things that I did. I checked in with myself, and I hope that you're doing the same. And I hope that this video offers you the space to do so. Thank you for tuning in to my Mindful Mama moment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this video and you like hearing my voice, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time.